Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive headache for e-commerce entrepreneurs. We are navigating the completely wild world of CBD payment processing and, specifically, how Adaptiv payments fits into the picture. Look, if you're operating in the hemp space right now, you already know that running your business is literally only half the battle. The other half? Actually getting paid. It can be incredibly frustrating, so let's clear the minefield together.
Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute biggest question in the room, and probably the one you furiously Googled at 2 a.m. Does Stripe accept CBD payments? Since Stripe is such a massive e-commerce giant, it's naturally the very first place merchants look. The answer? Well, it's a very conditional, highly precarious yes, but. You see, Stripe might accept CBD payments depending on your specific merchant policies, the exact type of product you sell, and your local jurisdiction. But, and honestly this is a massive but, they strictly reserve the right to restrict or just flat out terminate your account at any time. You're essentially building your business foundation on sand.
Don't just take my word for it. Look at their own policy. Stripe's FAQ page regarding restricted businesses is pretty crystal clear. They explicitly restrict, and I quote, any products with CBD or THC in them. So how do we even reconcile this? The 2018 Farm Bill federally legalized hemp-derived CBD in the United States, right? Yet here we have a massive corporate policy effectively putting up a giant red stop sign. Why? Mostly because Stripe is an international processor. Dealing with sectors that have varying, hyper-local regulatory guidelines creates an absolute compliance nightmare for them. For a massive global company, it is simply so much easier and way cheaper to just restrict entire sectors rather than try to manage all those legal nuances on a case-by-case, merchant-by-merchant basis.
But hey, let's say you do manage to get approved initially. What suddenly gets you kicked off a few months down the line? A huge factor is product type ambiguity. Not all CBD is treated equally by these guys. Edibles and ingestibles, think your CBD gummies, tinctures, or food oils, sit in a much higher risk category. Topicals, on the other hand, like a CBD massage lotion or a skin cream, are considered lower risk. The problem is, if your product descriptions are even a little bit ambiguous, a processor's automated bot can't easily tell the difference between your soothing massage lotion and a gummy. So what does the bot do? It panics, and it shuts your account down just to be safe. No warning, just gone. And that brings us to terminology, specifically full-spectrum CBD. Now, in the industry, we all know this is a huge selling point. It means the product contains cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids that all work together to produce a synergistic effect. Customers absolutely love it. But the crux of the issue for processors lies at the very end of that definition, typically up to 0.3% THC. While the Farm Bill clearly allows CBD with less than 0.3% THC, local jurisdictions can have completely different thresholds. So, while slapping full spectrum on your label is amazing for your marketing, to a payment processor's automated web crawler, it looks like an unacceptable legal risk regarding potential psychoactive effects.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. You can be running a 100% legal, entirely compliant hemp-derived business and still lose your ability to take payments overnight. The triggers are super specific. First is that THC threshold sensitivity we just talked about. Next up, documentation gaps. If literally every single batch of your product doesn't have a visible, perfectly compliant certificate of analysis, or COA, boom, you're flagged. Then we have unapproved medical claims. You might know for a fact that your CBD helps your customers with sleep or anxiety, but the FDA strictly prohibits claiming medical benefits for non-pharmaceutical products. If you tell a customer your oil cures insomnia, your processor will cut ties immediately. Finally, the CBD industry just naturally suffers from higher dispute and chargeback rates, maybe from shipping delays or subscription issues, which automatically dumps it into a high-risk profile.
Now at this point you might be thinking you have a clever workaround. You might be saying, well, what if my product is on Shopify? I'm safe, right? It's a hugely common belief in the e-commerce community that if you're using a massive platform like Shopify, you're somehow insulated from those strict underlying processor rules. Let's just burst that bubble right now.
We really need to demystify what I call the Shopify trap. Shopify by default actually uses Stripe as its back-end payment gateway to process and secure transactions. Hiding behind a beautiful, well-designed Shopify storefront does absolutely nothing to protect you from the back-end realities. If you are selling CBD on Shopify using their default payment systems, you still have to follow every single one of Stripe's extremely stringent guidelines. If Stripe flags you CBD products, Shopify is going to restrict your access to processing through the platform. You're playing by the exact same rules, just looking at a different interface.
Section 1. The high-risk alternative. Taking control of your payment processing. It is time to stop trying to squeeze your high-risk business into a low-risk processor's rigid little box.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why finding a dedicated, specialized processor is an absolute game-changer. First off, you get multiple payment options: credit, debit, EBT, e-checks. Giving people options directly boosts your sales and prevents them from abandoning their carts at the last second. Second, you get seriously robust fraud monitoring. You'll see jargon like AVS, CVV, and 3D Secure. That basically just means the processor is using multiple layers of real-time authentication to verify the buyer's identity. It protects you from stolen cards. Third, proactive chargeback mitigation. Instead of a standard processor just freezing your funds the second a customer disputes a charge, a high-risk processor gives you the tools to resolve the dispute before it destroys your merchant reputation. And finally, you actually get regulatory guidance from people who truly understand complex things like age verification and cross-border CBD laws. It's like having a compliance team in your corner.
Moving on to Section 2, the Adaptiv Payment Solution, which is built specifically for high-risk merchants. This is really the ultimate resolution to the whole CBD payment dilemma we've been talking about.
One of the most fascinating and honestly refreshing aspects of their approach is what they called their common sense underwriting policy. Traditional processors will usually just run a cold algorithm that scans your processing history or MCC codes, and the second it flags a CBD keyword, you get auto-rejected, no questions asked. Adaptiv actually takes a human approach to this. They assess your holistic business model, they check your credit, they actually take the time to review your specific product lines to understand exactly what you are selling. It's a fair, comprehensive, real-world evaluation rather than just a blind algorithmic rejection.
So why does all of this actually matter for your day-to-day operations? Well, merchants choose Adaptiv because of that deep CBD industry expertise. They know exactly how to help you set up compliant age verification checkouts so you don't get in trouble. Plus, they offer transparent contracts. There are no crazy hidden fees or sudden rate hikes. It's just competitive, affordable processing. They also offer incredibly convenient infrastructure integrations. This means you can plug their gateway right into your existing e-commerce setup without having to tear your entire website apart. And of course, the whole shebang is backed by advanced PCI DSS compliant processing to keep both your money and your customers' sensitive data strictly secure.
I absolutely love this quote from Max Brasseau, an account executive at Adaptiv Payments. He says their entire focus is to deliver transparent guidance and tailored solutions that keep businesses running smoothly without disruption. Honestly, that is the exact opposite of the sheer panic and anxiety you feel waking up, wondering if a standard processor has frozen your funds overnight. It highlights an empathetic, genuinely supportive partnership where your processor actually wants your high-risk business to scale and thrive, rather than viewing you as a liability. So, let's wrap this up. We've covered the hidden dangers of standard processors, the highly specific compliance traps waiting for you in the CBD space, and exactly how specialized partners like Adaptiv Payments can turn a massive vulnerability into a real strength. I want to leave you with this final, vital question to think about today. Is your current payment processor protecting your business, or are they quietly putting it at risk? If you are relying on a low-risk processor for a high-risk product, guys, it is only a matter of time. Take a really hard look at your backend, evaluate your setup, and seriously consider making the switch to a partner that is actually built to project your revenue. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building.